Hey, what time it is? None of your damn business. Hey, what's going on? I'm just doing a little test here. This is Chance Bartels, the nostalgic Podblast at your service. This is very serious. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do my standard ITC logo. Doesn't matter because this is just a test and I'd already done like over an hour. And I didn't have the right audio channel filtered in, so like the audio was pretty much inaudible. So I gotta quickly do this again. I gotta get some sleep. It's Father's Day Eve, actually Father's Day morning, technically. I got stuff to do for Dad tomorrow, and I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'm not gonna go a whole nother hour. But what I did was I want to reveal an email I got from a wonderful actress. Who passed away sadly in 2019. She was in a key episode, in my mind, of The Fugitive. Actually, 2 episodes of The Fugitive. One of the highest rated television programs of all time. The final episode of The Fugitive aired on August 29th, 1967, and it beat the ratings record held by the Beatles, debuting on Ed Sullivan. So The Fugitive was not a slack show by any means, but anyone that knows the nostalgic Podblast will. I know it's just a small amount of people that hear everything. I mean, my gosh. I mean, I do shows sometimes that are 7 hours long. But in the last show, towards the end, which was a banner show, it was about Bob Crane, and I had the authors of the Bob Crane Definitive Biography hardcover book, almost a 700-page book. Carol M. Ford and Linda J. Groundwater on the show. She's in Australia, Linda J. Groundwater, and Carol is in New Jersey, so we did a Zoom call thing live, and thanks to these ladies, now that's what I'm going to do moving forward. Hello, 21st century. Everyone else is doing that, has been doing that for some time, even before COVID. But stupid me finally got on the Zoom shtick. But now this is serious. I want to talk about a Fugitive episode from the 2nd season of that program, which lasted 4 total seasons. But back in season 2, the first 3 seasons were in black and white. The last season was in full color. But in season 2, episode 22, titled Moonchild, you had an actor in there, June Harding, who played a character who was supposed to be pretty much autistic before they knew what autism even was. She was a special child. She was supposed to be 19 years of age. But June Harding herself was in her late 20s in real time, but she looked younger than she appeared to be. So she played a 19-year-old who had a quote-unquote low IQ in the story. And she actually returned in season 4 of The Fugitive, the final season of that program, in the full color episode titled 10,000 Pieces of Silver, which refers to the reward that one would get in fiction land that helped the apprehension of Dr. Richard Kimble. get a $10,000 reward, which they kind of used in The Incredible Hulk, right? Jack McGee would always flaunt and throw around $10,000. Miss Kaplan, that's what you'll get with any. You bring me the creature, John Doe, or John Doe, and you get $10,000. Anyway, but that was in The Fugitive first. But I want to talk about June Harding. This character really struck a chord in me. This autistic character or special character, and she was actually credited as a special guest star. And a lot of TV historian quacks say that Jonathan Harris was the first actor to be billed as a special guest star. That's hogwash. This episode was the season before Lost in Space even debuted. And by the way, the pilot of Lost in Space, shot in January 1965, didn't even have a Dr. Smith or a robot in it. So there was, this aired, by the way, on February 16th, 1965, and June Harding was credited as a special guest star. Typically, people would get that credit if they were working on a movie, like on Lost in Space. Speaking of Lost in Space, Angela Cartwright. She was the only character in the opening animated credits that mentioned her character name and Angela Cartwright as Penny. Angela Cartwright as Penny. Was it and Angela Cartwright as Penny or just Angela Cartwright as Penny? I think it was and Angela Cartwright as Penny. Irrelevant. The point is, they mentioned the character because she had just done The Sound of Music. That was out in theaters and was a tremendous success with 20th Century Fox, the same production or the same studio that put out Lost in Space, put out The Sound of Music. But June Harding was billed as a special guest star on The Fugitive. Now, a lot of you out there will probably know her from a movie called The Trouble with Angels, which I think was the catalyst for the Sally Field starring cheesy 1960s sitcom, The Flying Nun. Even though there's no flying nuns in this movie, it was a nun comedy kind of thing, Trouble with Angels, and it did make money. It made millions. But June Harding, for those watching on camera, she had auburn brownish hair. There she is on camera. And so that would have been filmed around the time she did this Fugitive episode. Or maybe after. It probably was after. But June Harding wrote me just a beautiful note back in 2009, May 17th, 2009 to be exact, which I'm going to read. I've never shared this anywhere. It's just such a nice note. Oh my God, the way it's written and everything. Very beautiful. And she wound up moving to the state of Maine and becoming an artist after her acting career. In the late 1970s, she left California and went to Maine with her husband. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I don't want to be too long-winded. I'm not going to go a whole another hour. I already did this, and the nice guy, Steve Russo shared it and everything. I deleted the video. I saved a copy of myself, but I didn't have the right audio channel up. It sounded muffled. It was like from an external speaker. It just sounded like crap, so I deleted it, and I'm just doing this all over again. I want to read you the email. It's important. This kind of is a rehearsal. I'm going to do this in an official Podblast soon, but I want to share this with you now in this quote-unquote rehearsal. Before I do that, I want to mention I had covered this in the last real edition of the Nostalgic Podblast about Bob Crane and how he is totally misrepresented and his character is trashed for no good reason thanks to that terrible movie. Well, I can't say terrible. It wasn't a bad movie, but the movie did a disservice to the memory of Bob Crane. Talking about autofocus. And so I had the authors of the official Bob Crane biography Carol M. Ford in New Jersey, and Linda J. Groundwater in the continent of Australia as my special guests. But at the end of that show, I talked about music replacement in The Fugitive, particularly this episode with June Harding. And this pisses me off because she's no longer with us. She wouldn't probably have known anyway, but still, I know. And I care. And the guy who did the theme to the Fugitive TV show was a composer named Pete Rugolo. And another quick update. I talked about at the end of that Podblast about this compact disc from the year 2000. From the year 2000. I'm going to show on camera. I bought it for $20, and I said, oh, now it's like, last time I checked, $100 on Amazon new. Check that. It's $400 now. $399 and change. $399, not including tax and shipping for that compact disc. Man, that's why you got to get these compact discs, especially about television or movie soundtracks. When there's like a limited pressing, like there's going to be a new Munsters compact disc released, and there's only going to be 2,000 of them made and distributed. You got to get those quick. I got a Star Trek, the original series, like it's like a trip. There's multiple discs. I can't remember how many compact disc CDs there are in that thing from a couple of years ago. I think it's from 4 years ago. And it's got all the original background music of the original Star Trek, and it's going for pretty good money. And I got it before it sold out. I got one of the last copies they had. What's the name of that company? It'll come to me. I'll look it up. But they're good. They release all sorts of compact discs. They didn't do The Fugitive, but what the hell is that company? They're out of Los Angeles, California, I think, or Hollywood. Ah, shucks. I got to look it up. I can't believe I can't remember off the top of my head. But June Harding was, she played it, like I said, a character who has autism. You know, it was before they really knew what autism was in 1964, 65. It was shot in late 1964, aired. It was filmed in Thanksgiving 1964 time, aired in February 1965. Fugitive season 2 episode. Hang on a second. I want to find out what that company is. It's like called TV soundtracks. What is it? It's got a stupid name, this company. I don't like the name of their dumb company. I mean, they're not dumb company. Forgive me. I didn't mean to say that. They do a great thing. I'm proud of them. I mean, I'm happy to be a customer. Hang on a second. Oh, gosh. I've got to look that up. It does have a hokey name, though. Hang on. Star Trek. Let me just look that up. Star Trek. It's a great... I'm going to grab that for the camera when I play this music in a minute. Ah, hell. That's what I'll do. I'll read it off the back of the compact disc in a minute. Why waste time talking about this? Let's get back on track with The Fugitive. This episode with June Harding, The Fugitive, Season 2, Episode 22, titled Moonchild, originally aired on Tuesday, February 16th, 1965 at 10 p.m. on ABC TV. And the version that MeTV airs, it's not MeTV's fault. It's CBS Paramount that sends them a butchered copy where they've taken out the the background music, a lot of it, not all of it, but they took out and replaced some of the incidental music, including this track by Pete Rugolo, scored specifically for June Harding's character, titled Youthful Innocence, which is track 16 on that Fugitive compact disc. They, for some reason, took that out. I don't know why they did, because Pete Rugolo's other music is intact in the versions that air on MeTV and in the DVDs. I don't know why they did that, but they did. They, for some reason, took out this track. And here's the thing. Pete Rugolo, he didn't score much original music for The Fugitive. He did the theme song. And by the way, some of the tracks in The Fugitive, I learned later, came from like shows like Perry Mason and The Twilight Zone. Like there were a lot of recycled music cues, and I can't understand the commonality. Like Perry Mason was on CBS, The Fugitive was on ABC. I'm trying to think, was it the same network? Nope. Scratch that off the list of commonalities. Was it the same studio? Nope. Fugitive was MGM UA. I can't figure out why music from Perry Mason wound up on The Fugitive. I can understand why in season 4 of The Fugitive, the only one in color, shot in full color, had music from the Outer Limits, because the Outer Limits had been canceled in January 1965, and that was an MGM UA show. So, and The Fugitive was an MGM UA show. So that's the commonality, right? I can't understand the commonality of why, or the reason why Pete Rugolo's score, Youthful Innocence, for this character played by June Harding, was removed in recent days from the versions of The Fugitive that are distributed by CBS Paramount to different television stations all over the world. I don't get it, because his other music is intact. So what's the problem? But music replacement just bothers me. And let me just tell you about this episode of The Fugitive titled Moonchild with June Harding. I'm going to read her email to me. It's so sweet. I don't want to get emotional, and I'm going to have it together. I'm going to keep it together. But she's so well written, and what she said to me is some of those beautiful wording anyone's ever talked to me, whether it's family or a loved one, another loved one, or someone I was dating, or a relationship. The lady was talented, and her artwork, like I mentioned, I'm getting ahead of myself. She moved to Maine, left California, moved to Maine with her husband, and she got into art. And she was a talented painter, artist, in terms of pen and ink, and I think she did oil paintings, just wonderful art. And I'll tell you where you can find it. At least look at it. You know, if you're not going to buy anything from her estate, at least look at it. Her artwork is inspiring. It's really good. But The Fugitive she was in 2, as I said, in season 2, which was a black and white season, and season 4, which was the only season in color. But in her first episode, she debuted in The Fugitive season 2 episode titled Moonchild, which was the 22nd episode that season out of 30 total season 2 episodes, airing, as I said already, on Tuesday, February 16th, 1965 at 10 o'clock. The plot: a small town is on edge because 2 women have been murdered. Dr. Richard Kimble, incognito of course, is stopped by a group of vigilantes when he's in a diner trying to enjoy some chili and crackers and coffee and water. But these vigilantes suspect any stranger in town. And there's a good reason I'll get to in a minute why they suspect strangers. But Kimble escapes the interrogation by these people, and he hides in an abandoned building where he is helped by a young, naive woman, played by June Harding, who wrote me. There were so many excellent cast members in this particular episode of The Fugitive alongside June Harding, like Mary Hamilton, who 10 years later played the mayor in Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg. Also in this Fugitive episode was actor Harry Dean Stanton, who later was one of the co-stars of the movie Alien in 1979. Now, in this episode, like I said, there's a serial killer on the loose. The serial killer in this is played by actor Roy Jenson, who a lot of Trekkers and Trekkies will remember from the episode of the original Star Trek titled The Omega Glory, episode 54 in production order out of 80 total episodes. And it was the second episode that aired in season 2 of the original Star Trek. By the way, Star Trek was rejected by NBC executives after the first pilot titled The Cage because the executives said it was too cerebral, meaning too brainy, too intelligent. They wanted a knockdown, drag-out brawl. So Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, delivered 3 scripts to NBC for a second chance at a pilot. One was the Omega Glory, I'm talking about right now, which had Roy Jenson in it, and Where No Man's Gone Before, which was the filmed second pilot, and Mud's Women, which was the 4th episode shot. But the Omega Glory, they didn't wind up producing that till the end of season 2. And in that story, it was about an alternate Earth where they worshiped the American flag, but these people were very primitive, and they just had, like, in this alternate universe, a weird way of pronouncing things. Like, instead of we the people, they called it e plugnista instead of we the people. And Kirk picks up on that, Captain James T. Kirk, and starts reading the Constitution and saves the day. But Roy Jenson in that Star Trek, Trekkies may remember this guy. He's a deep-voiced actor. And he was the guy that was in the jail cell with Captain Kirk. And Kirk's, like, trying to educate him and tells him to, like, the bars of the jails, like, these bars are in, like, concrete. And he's like, just turn you with your brawn, with your muscle, just turn your, he didn't say this, but basically he's telling, in so many, without so many words, turn your wrist, and get these bars. And he does, he loosens the bar. The muscle guy picks up on that, and they almost escape, and they get the bars loose, but that the character played by Roy Jenson, the deep voiced actor, takes one of the bars and hits Captain Kirk in the back of the head right when Kirk is saying, Spock, we'll have you out in a minute. Boom! And then he hits him in the back of the head. Boink. Anyway, that is the actor, I guess, that most people would remember from that scene. But Roy Jenson did a ton of other shows. He was even in The Invaders, the season before the Omega Glory, the 66-67 season. The Invaders started as a winter replacement show on ABC, debuting on January 10th, 1967, which was dead in the middle of the 1966 to 1967 season. The Omega Glory aired towards the end of the 67-68 season. So before that, in episode 3 of The Invaders, the season before this guy Roy Jenson was on Star Trek, he was on The Invaders as an alien. Before he was that, and he killed the character played by Suzanne Plachette. You know Suzanne Plachette? Yes, you do. Even if you don't know the name, you know who she is. She played in the Bob Newhart show. She was Bob Newhart's wife, right? In the 1970s show. And then she was in the final episode of the 1980 show in that dream sequence, or not so dream, where, I guess the whole damn show was supposed to be a dream. She wakes up. The reality sequence, I guess you would say. But this guy, Roy Jenson, the actor, he killed her character in The Invaders with like a laser gun. She was an alien in that episode, the 3rd episode, titled The Mutation, which I think aired on January 24th, 1967 on ABC TV. Roy Jenson was in this before he was in The Invaders. That's why he got hired for The Invaders. He did a great job in this. Invaders was a QM production, Quinn Martin, as was The Fugitive. So people liked his performance as the serial killer in this Fugitive episode with June Harding. So he was a very big actor, deep voice guy, and also in the cast, besides Maury Hamilton and Roy Jenson, was Virginia Christie playing June Harding's character, the one with autism, her mom. And Virginia Christie, most people will know from the 1970s as Mrs. Olson in the classic Folgers Coffee TV ads in the ad campaign. And in real life, Virginia Christie was the real-life wife of a weird character actor named Fritz Feld, who Lost in Space fans will remember from the season 2 episodes The Android Machine and The Toy Maker. He was the guy in charge of the Celestial department store, and I think he was in 2 Weeks in Space in season 3. I know he was. He was in 3 episodes of the original Lost in Space, and he did this weird pop thing. He had like a little pencil mustache, kind of a little putsy guy, and he went like that. And but Virginia Christie was this guy's wife, and talk about a weird couple. She was a very pretty lady, and he was just kind of a little dumpy, just a weirdo. So I thought it was a strange couple, but I guess they made beautiful music together. Anyway, Virginia Christie in this Fugitive episode with June Harding, where June Harding plays a quote-unquote low IQ person with a low IQ, autism, whatever. You know, she's special. She's supposed to be 19, but June Harding was in her 20s, her late 20s at the time. And Virginia Christie played her mom in this episode of The Fugitive. And June Harding's character is still playing with dolls, and she basically has the mind of a child, but in a big girl's body. Anyway. And by the way, I was never attracted to June Harding. That's not why I wrote her back in 2009. Legitimately, I liked her performance. The character she played in her performance really touched my heart for some reason. And it just, I know why, not for some reason, but it did. It touched my heart, and it just was a very unique performance and character. And she had great chemistry with David Jansen, and it was just well written, a well written episode, and well acted by June, who most people know from that Trouble with Angels. I'm going to turn it over. Well, I'll turn it over when I play the music that was cut. And again, it's just all unique TV history trivia that this music was scored by Pete Rugolo, who done the theme to The Fugitive. He hardly ever did original music to The Fugitive. They just rehashed it, re-aired, reran it again and again and again, the same friggin' cues all 4 years. In the 4th season, they had other cues. They used stock footage from the long canceled at that point by 2 years or so, Outer Limits and other shows. But, man, I want to talk about June Harding just briefly. I know I mentioned this in the last Podblast, but you probably didn't hear it. June Harding, who wrote me in 2009, was born on September 7th, 1937, and she sadly passed away on March 22nd, 2019. And she appeared in many 1960s TV shows. She's, I guess, best remembered, as I said, for her role opposite Haley Mills and Rosalind Russell in the 1966 movie titled The Trouble with Angels. Like Mills, Harding did not appear in the movie's sequel titled Where Angels Go, Trouble Follows. But June Harding was born in Emporia, Virginia, and she graduated from Greensville County High School in 1955. She earned a bachelor's degree in acting from Richmond Professional Institute. After she graduated, June Harding went to New York, and she studied there under Lonnie Chapman at the Theater Studio of New York. And she also took ballet and practiced yoga. By the way, Lonnie Chapman, who taught June Harding how to act, you've seen him. He was a character actor in all sorts of TV shows. Oh my gosh, he was in a great Fall Guy episode from season 2, titled Reluctant Traveling Companion, which has Richard Burton as himself in pretty much the whole episode, more than just a cameo. He's on a train with Colt Seaver's character, who is traveling across country from Philadelphia to Los Angeles to deliver a bell jumper, played by Mary Margaret Humes. Oh, what a great character, and what a great actor, and how pretty she was. Mary Margaret Humes. She wasn't a big star, but she did notable roles back in the 80s and stuff, and she's still around, thank goodness, still alive, but she was so funny in that episode. She tried to convince Richard Burton, who's playing himself, obviously in the script, it's not real, but that Colt Seaver is played by Lee Majors is doing S&M on her and like is like doing sexual crazy shit to her, stuff to her. Funny scenes like he handcuffs her, Colt does legitimately, to keep her in the room when she's causing all sorts of problems. So he handcuffs her, and so she winds up conniving to get the attention of Richard Burton playing himself, and she's by yelling out because he's in the next compartment over on the train, not the whip, not the whip, and he's like, Colt, what the hell's going on in here? And then he opens the door, and you see her writhing like on the bed with the handcuff, like, oh, Mr. Burton, help me. And she's just such a funny character. She did 3 entirely different characters in Fall Guy, but that's my favorite character she did. And it's on Amazon Prime for free. And by the way, that's a season 2 episode, which was only available until recently in Europe on DVD. 20th Century Fox, now owned by Disney, released the Fall Guy season 1 in America in 2006, but they only released season 2 in Europe. And they did music replacement. They took out all the pop background songs. That's a whole nother can of worms, another story. But that episode, Lonnie Chapman and Mary Margaret Humes and Richard Burton, one of the last things he did before he died, shot in 1982, summer of 82. Reluctant Traveling Companion, Fall Guy episode. That Mary Margaret Humes is funny in that, man. I'm telling you. She's like yelling at Colt, get me off this train. Seavers! Seavers! Like she yelled, Seavers! It's funny, the scene. You just got to see it. Like I can't do it, or it's funny. She's good in that. I don't know why she wasn't a bigger star, or at least get like she should have had a regular role in the 80s or 90s, like in some show, like a star. She's good. Anyway, God dang. So getting back to June Harding, she studied acting under Lonnie Chapman, who plays a kind of a crooked sheriff who won't give Colt Seaver's character a phone call unless he gives his belt buckle or like his vest. Like he keeps like with total graft with this guy. He's like a crooked sheriff who won't give the character of Colt Seavers his righteous phone call unless he gives up all these items on his person. But June Harding, I want to get back to June. She studied under actor Lonnie Chapman, who also was a character actor. Didn't have a huge role per se, but he acted steadily in a lot of TV and film projects. In the summer of 1961, June Harding acted in a stock company, Summer Stock, at the Cecilwood Theater in Fishkill, New York. In New York, June Harding landing a recurring role on the CBS soap opera As the World Turns. June Harding appeared in the off-Broadway productions of The Innocents Abroad and The Boyfriend, and also in Cry of the Raindrop, for which she won a Daniel Bloom Theater World Award. In December 1961, June Harding made her Broadway debut, playing Liz Michelson in the comedy titled Take Her, She's Mine. In Take Her, She's Mine, June Harding played Art Carney's youngest daughter. Elizabeth Ashley played her sister and won a Tony Award for her performance. Now, Elizabeth Ashley, you'll know her from Evening Shade. She was a great, raspy voice, Southern lady. She was in the Heat of the Night, bunch of stuff. But that's an interesting show right there, Evening Shade. For a while, about 5-10 years ago or so, Antenna TV was airing Evening Shade. But the weird thing is they'd only air like one episode of season 1 and a couple from season 2, and then all of season 3, all of season 4. That was a great show. What a cast, man. Mary Lou Henner, the great Burt Reynolds, Elizabeth Ashley. Remember that guy, that gay guy? The guy was gay in real life, but he was a great actor. Oh, I can't remember his name. I got to look it up because I got to give him justice. He was so funny. Character actor. I think he's dead now. He was so funny, that little gay guy. What was his name? Hang on a second. And I'm not talking about who else died recently. talking about funny gay guys. Oh, man. He did a Fall Guy. I got it right here. Hang on, what is it? Oh. The guy from, let me just stop while I'm behind. Hang on a second. I got to find out this guy's name. He was in the Cool Kids, but he also was in, I guess, Torpedoed. When he died, that show died. He was on most recently with Mayim Bialik. That show got canceled after he died. Hang on a second. Cool Kids cast. God, what's that guy's name? That funny little gay guy. Leslie Jordan. God bless his soul. He was so funny. I love the Cool Kids. It only lasted one season on Fox in 2019. They should have moved it. It was on Friday night. That show would have done better on Sunday night, like Murder, She Wrote did. For, I was going to say decades, but I think it was decades. That show did great. That was a retirement community show set in a retirement community. And what I loved about the Cool Kids on Fox from 2018-2019 season is that they brought back actors in guest roles that were so beloved, like Jamie Farr from MASH, which I'm watching now for the first time. Love it on MeTV. MASH. Where have I been, right? Who else do they have on there? Nah, this guy's not that great, but he is respected by many. Ed Begley Jr., who played the Zodiac Killer on the Cool Kids, who's dating Vicki Lawrence's character. David Alan Grier was a regular on that show. Martin Mull was a regular on that show. It was a good show. Fox fucked up. Excuse my language. Fox messed up with that show. They should have moved it. Should have given it commission the second season and moved it to another night besides Friday night. I mean, it deserved it. God, I'm all over the place. So what was I talking about? Cool Kids. Hang on a second. The gay guy. That's what I was on. The gay guy. What gay guy? Funny gay guy. Oh, God. Oh, hang on a second. I've lost my train of thought. Big surprise. Little gay guy. Yeah. Evening Shade. That funny little gay guy. What was his name? Hang on a second. I'm going to find out. And it doesn't matter about sexuality. Don't misunderstand. I'm just describing him. And he was. I mean, gay guys are funny. What was that little dude? Let me see somewhere. God damn it. Excuse my language. I shouldn't say that. I'm a Christian. I shouldn't say that. Who was that little dude? Now, Hal Holbrook was in that was it. Michael Jeter. Oh, yeah. That guy was funny as shit on Evening Shade. Remember that guy? Michael Jeter as Herman? Oh, God. That was the funniest guy on the damn show. And Hedgeworth was in Evening Shade. Remember her? Three's Company. She only was in season 4, Three's Company. After the Ropers had spun off, and she was the one that Ralph Furley was hot after, but she was hot after Jack Tripper, right? And Hedgeworth. The older woman that Jack Tripper was trying to avoid. Man. God dang. Charles Durning was in the cast. Ossie Davis, like I said, Elizabeth Ashley. What was her damn character name at Three's Company in Hedgeworth, season 4? God, Lana. Sometimes Jack would be turned on when she'd be coming on to him. He couldn't resist all the time. Let me see here. Oh, and who else was in that? Was that Leah Remini. She was she did a semi-regular guest spot. Wasn't in a whole lot of them. That Hilary Swank was in some episodes of Evening Shade. Evening Shade is underrated. I don't know why it's not running on Antenna TV anymore. I had them all on DVD. You ever have a DVR box crash? I did. And I had recorded every episode that Antenna TV had played. And I think they're out on DVD. I should just buy the damn DVDs and not be a cheap shit. But I think they're out there. I remember, I know. I looked it up in season 1. I'm like, why are they playing one episode of season 1 on Antenna TV? There's like 22 episodes of season 1 or something. And they only played one in the rotation on Antenna TV. I'm talking like I read down purpose. I don't know why. I'm just loopy. I need to go to sleep. It's Father's Day Eve. It's Father's Day morning, and I've got stuff to do. I do want to seriously play this, read you this email from June Harding. And sincerely, it touches my heart, and I want to play the music. When I hear that music that was cut, removed, replaced from DVD and reruns, most recently in 2023, I just saw Moonchild, the Fugitive Season 2 episode on MeTV. Not MeTV's fault. It's what CBS Paramount sent them. They sent them an episode with the damn butchered music. And just, if you know anything about television history, like I said, I'm repeating myself, Pete Rugolo didn't score much original music for Fugitive, but he did score a theme for June Harding's character as the special child, autistic child, whatever you want to call her, Joanne. And by the way, did I mention this? I know I did on the other take. I think I did another. I'm redoing this whole thing because I didn't have the right audio channel in the video I did earlier, so I deleted it. I saved it, but I deleted it. For me privately, I saved it, but you can't really hear it that good. I don't know if I mentioned it here or there, but man. Hang on, I'm looking at my notes here. Talk about anticlimactic. Oh yeah. Here's what I was going to say. Her character, June Harding, in this Fugitive episode, she was in 2 episodes of The Fugitive, season 2 and season 4, but this is the one that really touched my heart, where she played Joanne Mercer. On the internet, it says Joanna Mercer. That's bullshit. It's Joanne. But David Jansen, who plays Dr. Richard Kimble, kept screwing up. And it's in the final cut of the episode, her name. At one point, he calls her June. Towards the end of the episode, he kisses her character on the forehead and calls her June. That's the actor's name. I don't know why a script supervisor or someone didn't catch that. And also, he calls her Joanne. No. Joni. I'm sorry. He calls her Joni. He can't get her name right. He calls her June. He calls her Joni. It's Joanne. Joanne Mercer in the script is the character played by June Harding. Man. And then she also came back to The Fugitive in season 4, as I said, playing a different character named Kathy, who also was mentally challenged. So they sort of typecast her as a mentally challenged character actor when she had all of her faculties. She was very intelligent and a great artist later in life, with oil paintings and drawings. It's really good stuff, and it's out there on the internet. But she came back to season 4 of The Fugitive playing Kathy in an episode titled 10,000 Pieces of Silver in the fall of 1966. That was the episode that introduced a reward for the capture of Dr. Richard Kimble. $10,000 to be precise, which they used in the Incredible Hulk show. Remember Jack McGee, the reporter from the National Register, would flaunt that to people. Any information leading to the capture of the Hulk is $10,000. Like, $10,000, Miss Kaplan. You know, he would always be real melodramatic with that, throwing that money around from his publisher of, what was the newspaper? The National Register, Chicago, Illinois. Fictional newspaper, and that show, The Incredible Hulk, on CBS. So, I really digressed there. I'm talking about Elizabeth Ashley, who played her sister, and Elizabeth Ashley won a Tony Award for her performance alongside June Harding on Broadway in the comedy titled Take Her, She's Mine. Interesting. On television, June Harding was a regular cast member on a show called The Richard Boone Show, which was a television anthology on NBC in the 1963 to 1964 television season, which is a notable television season on the ABC television side. That was the new ABC. They branded themselves in the 1963 to 64 season as the new ABC. And they had all sorts of promotional materials in print and on air and everywhere, billboards. The three big shows that premiered on ABC in the 63-64 season that survived the test of time would be The Outer Limits, which lasted a season and a half, aired on Monday nights on ABC starting in 63-64 season. And then The Fugitive on Tuesday night at 10, that debuted 63-64 season. And then Wednesday night, The Patty Duke Show at 8 o'clock. That was another new show. All three of those were new shows. And there were other new shows, like the Jimmy Dean Show, like the Sausage Guy had a variety show. Wagon Train was expanded to 90 minutes with a different night, Monday night. The Price is Right left NBC for ABC in the 63-64 season in prime time, I might add. All sorts of stuff. And the original host was Bill Cullen of The Price is Right, including the ABC years. Or year. It only lasted one season. It got canceled for good. At the end of 1964. And then Bob Barker's Price is Right show on CBS revived The Price is Right in 1972. But we're talking about June Harding right now. You've got to see this episode, Moonchild. If you Google Moonchild video, this will pull up. It's not on YouTube. This is what I'm talking about. And it has the original music. It's from an over-the-air recording, but apparently they used the EP Speed VHS, whoever shared this. It was from a Seattle television station. And there are bugs, what they call them, like where it shows the station ID, but I can't make out what the hell the station is. Let me look it up. But I'm going to tell you where you can find it. This is a great episode. You can see for free on the internet. Get out of my face. A little pop up. Damn. Where is that freaking Daily Motion? That's it. And I'm not all that familiar with Daily Motion, but I watched. The only problem with Daily Motion was I couldn't figure out how to expand it. Like, it's kind of smaller. Like, you can watch it, and it's got full video and audio, but you can't, like, fill your screen on your laptop or, and I don't know how to watch it on the TV or anything, unlike YouTube, where you can watch it on your TV. But yeah, Daily Motion, someone has posted The Fugitive, Moonchild, and it's got the original music, unlike the one that MeTV plays. Not their fault. That's what they were sent from CBS Paramount. Let's talk about June Harding now. Get back to other things she did after the Richard Boone Show, 63-64 on NBC. She also appeared in a 1964 episode of The Kara Williams Show, and in 2 episodes of The Fugitive, as I've already said. First, playing Joanne Mercer. It says Joanna. No, it's Joanne. I know. Joanne Mercer in Moonchild in 1965, February 65. And as Kathy in 10,000 Pieces of Silver in 1966. Her Universal Studios made-for-TV movie called Dial Hotline spawned a series about an inner-city psychiatrist. June Harding continued her role of Anne on the ABC medical drama Matt Lincoln in 1970 to 1971. Now later, June Harding married Gary Thomas in the 1970s, and she retired from show business in the late 1970s, and the couple moved to the state of Maine. They separated years later. She settled in Blue Hill, Maine, where she became an artist. The Richmond Times-Dispatch reported that June Harding died in a hospice on March 22nd, 2019, at the age of 81 of natural causes. Her memorial service was held on April 13th, 2019, at 11 in the morning at Monumental United Methodist Church in Emporia, Virginia. You can see some of her artwork by Googling June Harding art, or Google June Harding art Fine America, or Fine Art America, June Harding. Now I want to play The Lost Music, which was on the soundtrack. And last time I mentioned, at least at the end of our Bob Crane episode of the Nostalgic Podblast, where I interviewed Carol M. Ford and Linda J. Groundwater, authors of Bob Crane, the definitive biography, almost 700 pages, hardcover. I'm sorry, almost 700 pages, 644 pages. That's right. I said at the end of that, I talked about June Harding, and I mentioned how this compact disc that I bought in the year 2000, last time I checked, it's going for $100 new on Amazon. Check that. It's going for $400 new on Amazon, if you can find it. And you can't even find it on eBay. I bought it for $20 back in 2000. But on that compact disc of Pete Rugolo's Fugitive music is track 16, titled Youthful Innocence. That was the musical piece, the theme that was scored for June Harding's character in Moonchild. This is the theme for Joanne Mercer, her character. And it's beautiful music. It sounds almost like Outer Limits music by Dominique Frontiere. Around that same time, too. Outer Limits was still on the air. And I think actually technically it had just been canceled a couple weeks, maybe a month prior to the airing of this episode. But it sounds like Outer Limits music. But this is Pete Rugolo, not Dominique Frontiere, who did that season 1 Outer Limits music. Ruben did season 2 of the Outer Limits. But let me play. This is from the compact disc. I did a fair job transferring it for you. I played it in the last Podblast, but I'm going to play it now. I just think this is beautiful music, and I'm going to read you this sweet email from this wonderful deceased actress, June Harding. She sent me on May 17th, 2009. But first, let's listen to her character's theme music, and which is missing from the Me TV version in 2023 anyway. Let's listen. Music, and it's so sad that it was taken out. Some idiot at CBS Paramount, probably because of the almighty dollar, took that music out and replaced it with crap junk. And I thought that was just, if you know anything about TV history, it's very unusual that they did that, and stupid, because like I said, the other music is in the episode. Why was that particular piece of music not okay to play? Now let me find. Hang on, I'm gonna play her email. Yeah, this, I wrote June Harding through her art website back in 2009. She got back to me really quickly, and she wrote me this email. If you see this episode, maybe you want to stop right now and Google The Fugitive Moonchild and find that Daily Motion upload and watch it with the original music. Again, it's not perfect quality, but it's more than just watchable. It's more than merely watchable. And then you'll appreciate her character and her acting, and you'll understand why she made an impression on me through her acting and her art and her gifts. It just, I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for offbeat characters that are misunderstood. Man, going back to when I was a kid, like in the 70s, I befriended a kid who was a deaf mute, a girl. And she would hide, and I broke through. Even as a child, I broke through to her and got her to talk. And anyway, Maddie was her name, little Maddie. God dang. At Sugar Hill Elementary School back in the 70s, Sugar Hill, Georgia. I don't know. Maybe that's why this character meant a lot to me. But her performance really, June Harding's performance, and it just makes me so sad that she died. I had no idea until recently, till about a week ago, that she had passed away. And but at least she wrote me this. This is so sweet. I don't want to get emotional right now. I should probably play the music. That'll make me even more emotional as I read this to you. But her writing, not just her artwork and her acting, but this was a talented lady and a smart, intelligent, soulful person. So I wrote her asking her what it was like to work with David Jansen, and I asked her a couple of things, but we'll just leave it at that. And I want to read now her response to me. Hi, Chance Bartels. You do have such a wonderful name. So southern. And right out of a film, I am sure. Thank you for your email and for your nice compliments on my work. I'd better watch out, else I get a swelled head. I am impressed by your film collection. Because I told her I had one of her Fugitives on film. The second one. I wish I had Moonchild. I always looked feverishly for it. Never could find it, but I found her other one. 10,000 Pieces of Silver. Anyway, I am impressed by your film collection. 16 millimeter too. Nice. I'll say I have 3 quote-unquote souvenirs of my 2 jobs/not jobs on The Fugitive. 2 snippets of film that the camera operator said I could have as they were just checking the light values, I guess. And the discards were left on the cutting room floor as throwaways. One is a close-up of moi, as Miss Piggy would say. A profile shot. Big hair. And the second is a long shot. Exterior. Of me climbing over stuff. Getting away. The second is a long shot. Exterior of me climbing over stuff. Getting away. And the third is a photo of Mr. J, as in David Jansen. She calls her Mr. J, and me when he came on the set of TTWA. I'm looking for some place to have 2 film snips printed and would appreciate any leads. I had no idea that the episodes were on DVD. Good information. I have had inquiries. I saw a couple minutes of Moonchild on YouTube. Very annoying. The block in the middle of the frame. Yipes. Working with David Jansen was a dream. Really? She says really. ... Really. He lived his character and just gave so much during a scene. He was always in the moment. Wonderful. I didn't want the job to end. Plus, the entire crew was great. And of course, he's the best looking actor ever. And so charming. I'd asked her about Julia Harding, what she responds to here. Julia Harding? I don't believe we are related. I could be wrong. Read somewhere that everyone has a twin in the world. So, Chance, thank you again for writing and for your good wishes. Lovely. June Harding. I think that's so sweet that she wrote me that. It's right there. It's right there. I printed it. If you're looking on camera, you can see it. Sweet lady. God bless her. Her character was just awesome. My favorite in The Fugitive. Even over the character played by the character of Jean Carlisle, played by Diane Baker, who ostensibly is the character that Dr. Richard Kimble marries after he's freed and exonerated of the crimes he was accused of. But I just love that little character that June Harding played in Moonchild. Look it up. I'm telling you, The Fugitive, Moonchild. Very entertaining. If anything, look for, like I said, Murray Hamilton, the future mayor of Jaws, the movie Jaws 10 years later. And you know, Harry Dean Stanton, future co-star of Alien in 1979. Jensen, all these faces you've seen in other movies and television shows, and the story's just very compelling, and her performance was incredible. God, I'm just so sad that she died. I really wanted to interview. I mean, not for selfish reasons. I'm sad that she died, you know, for her, but she's immortal on film. You know, it may seem like just a small little role, and I guess it was, but not really when you consider how popular The Fugitive is as a television show to this day, in large part thanks to the movie from 1993 starring Harrison Ford. And who else is in that Harrison Ford Fugitive movie was Jane, was her name Jane Lynch? The woman who later became a comedic actor. She was in The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Glee. And of course, you know she is, but she was playing like a colleague of Dr. Richard Kimble, played by Harrison Ford in the movie. In that movie, she played a dramatic role in that movie. Anyway, filmed in Chicago in 1992 during the St. Patrick's Day Chicago Parade and other things. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to log off. I'm going to log off. Sounds pretty disgusting. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I just wanted to give this update, and this is kind of a rehearsal for me. They never should have cut this music in place. God dang it. Gosh darn it. Hang on a second. Doesn't that sound like Outer Limits music? Someone out there knows what I'm saying. It sounds like Dominique Frontier's like a score from the Outer Limits. That's June Harding's character theme. She may not have, she gave up, she didn't, oh God, I'm about to say something that would be misunderstood. I'm not saying she gave up. I'm about to say she gave up acting. I mean, she went on to do other things in terms of oil painting and another life, another career. I'm not saying she gave up on anything. That's almost what I said, and I didn't mean to say that because I don't think that. But for just those few roles like Trouble with Angels, which most people remember her for. But that Fugitive, she had a theme scored for her. I think that's huge. Like, as an actor, any actor would love to have a theme scored for them. Now think about Harrison Ford. How many themes has he had scored for him? What a lucky guy, huh? He's had themes scored by John Williams and just tons of themes. Themes for his character specifically. That's an honor. And she had that, and that just pisses me off that it was stripped. And I hope it gets restored. I hope that that little theme by Pete Rugolo is restored to the Fugitive reruns and winds up on MeTV next year. Next time it recycles, which will probably be a year from now or so, a year and a half from now. I hope, or maybe 2 years from now. I got to do the math. 52 weeks in a year, 120 episodes. What would that be? But the next time it runs, it just ran as we're live about a month or so ago. And they didn't have the damn theme in there. They replaced it. Doesn't make any God-blessed sense to me why it was removed. Doesn't make any sense. But it's not removed here on the Nostalgic Podblast. Trust me, watch that episode, The Fugitive Moonchild. No jokes. It's not a joke. It's a great episode. Alright, I played that a lot, but I think that's good music and it should have been removed. Alright, I wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful Father's Day. If your father's no longer with us, I know you'll remember him today. I hope you have just a lot of fun recalling the lessons your dad taught you. And if your dad's around, just have a wonderful time with him. Take him fishing or something. Take him to a ball game. Take him out to lunch or dinner. Just honor thy father. And have a great week, everybody. And we're going to do a show on the road Thursday. You're going to love it.